Hi, I'll be going over the Umpire process for Bigram frequency. So, given a long string of text, we don't want to ignore punctuation. So we want to break the text into individual words. Then for every two words, count the frequency of words that come after those two words by storing them as a list of occurrences. Then we want to return a string with line breaks that shows the frequency of those words. Okay, so I'll start with the understand step. So understand. So in the input, let's see, we're given a long string of text. So a long string of text. And for the output, so we want to break the text into individual words, and for every two words, count the so return a string with line breaks that shows the frequency of those words. Okay, so a string with line breaks that shows the frequency of every two words. So I'll walk through some examples. So in the first example, I'll just copy this. So we're given like this poem, let's say Dr. Seuss. So we're given this, right? Oh, um, mm, oops, I said I took a screenshot. See if I can get it with the new lines. This is pretty important. Okay. And this is the input. And this all needs to be a comment, right? Okay. Then in the output, um, so we want every word and the word after with the number of times it appears afterwards, right? So for I do, we see not like 8 times. For do not, we see like 8 times. For not like, we see green 2 times. We see them with a comma 2 times, right? Then we see them without a comma 4 times. So this is the kind of output we want. And then we want to return it as a string. Okay. And then if we go through another example, well, it doesn't really give us the input, but say it's just the alphabet this time, and then yeah, so everything just appears once because we're just getting every 2 letters, and then the letter that appears afterwards. Okay, so this is kind of long. I'll probably just delete this too, just to not like make things crazy when I start like typing out everything. But I think that's a good way of understanding this problem. Um, so yeah, let's leave it like at that, I think. Okay, and then for match, I haven't seen this problem before, but I have worked with like frequency problems, right? So I have worked with previous frequency problems. So just from like that, I think like, I'm going to use a dict. They want like a string. To like use loops, right? Stuff like that. So for the plan, so the problem tells us that we have to break everything into tokens, right? So we want to break the string to tokens. And then from there, I want to create a dictionary, create an empty dictionary, and then we'll use this dictionary to keep track of every 2 words and the number of times that we get a word that appears after it and like which word it is. So create an empty dictionary, and then so we want to loop through the tokenized string, and then so we can like get the key, and this is like every 2 letters, right? So get the key in a variable, and then after that we'll get the word after the key, so after the 2 words. Then if so if this so we'll check if the key is in the dictionary. If it is, we'll just add the word after the 2 words. Otherwise, we'll have the first instance of the key and the word after, right? Okay, then from here, since we'll be using like a string to return the output, right? So we'll create an empty string. So create an empty string, and then I want to loop through the keys in the dictionary, in the dictionary we created in the previous dictionary. And then we'll use another dictionary to keep track of the frequency that the words appear in. Frequency of words, and also use a list to keep track of the order of the words. Because sometimes the 2 words will have other words that appear, so they'll also have to be in order also. Okay. And then so we'll do another loop, use another loop to loop through the previous dictionary, like values. So previous dictionary, so we're looking at the values of each key, right? So the word that comes after. So if that value isn't in the new dictionary we created, then we can create it. So create it with a 0 value, right? Because we're trying to keep the track of the frequency of all the words that appear after the two our key or the two letter words, create with a 0 value. And then we want to also let's see, also update the list with the um, new word, right, that we haven't seen yet, or the new like value, new value that we haven't seen yet. But otherwise, but we'll also always just be like, so we'll just use a counter, or we'll just always increment value by 1, right? Because if we're creating for the first time, we create with a 0, so we'll need to add it. But if we've seen it already, then we'll add it anyways, right? And then after the loop, I want to so we'll add the string. We'll add the key to the string. So add key to string with semicolon format because we need that specific formatting, right? And then I want to loop through the list that's keeping track of the order of the values, and then for like every word that comes after, right, we'll just add it to our string that currently has the two words that we're looking at. So so we'll just add word that comes after with frequency. Then we'll have to also change that to a string, right? Because cast it to a string because it's stored as an int right now. Then after loop, create a new line, right? So we want new lines, and then we just want to return the output string at the end. Okay, so that's a lot of steps, but this should work. So let's go ahead and start with the implementation. So implementation. So first, we'll split the string into tokens, right? So we'll use split for that. And then we want our dictionary, right? So this dictionary is just gonna basically just have every 2 words, every bigram, I think that's like the word for it. Every bigram, and then the word that comes after it. Or I'm not sure if I'm using it right, but every 2 words, and then the word that comes after. So let's call it frequency dictionary. And then we want to loop through our new tokenized string. But then since we're looking at every 2 words and the word after it, we'll just do -2, right, to make sure we don't get out of bounds error. And then I just want to be looking at the key, so we can store the key in a variable. So just like the 2 words that we're looking at. So we'll have key equals tokens I. Then we add the space in between, because that'll matter later in the format, right? And then the word after that one. And then after that, we'll be looking at the word after, right? So we can call this like next word. We're looking at the word it's after the 2 words we're currently looking at. So the value basically. And then we'll check if the current 2 words are already in the dictionary. And if they are, we'll just add the next word, right? So we do we'll just add it. So use append and get that next word. And then if it's not in the dictionary, then we'll just like have to create it for the first time. Okay. And then let's see. Okay, and then after this, so we're done with the loop. So we just want to create an empty string. And this is going to be our output string. And then we want to loop through the frequency dictionary and look at the keys. And then we'll like have a new dictionary to update. Let's see, so we'll have a new dictionary. To keep track of the frequency of words. So I wrote it up there, just can't remember. So keep track of the frequency of words. So we can just call it frequency. And then we need that list to keep track of the order also of the words that come after those two words. Okay, and then I want to loop through the frequency dictionary and look at the values. So if it's not in our new dictionary already, we have to create it. So we'll just use a 0 value, right? And then also keep track of the order. And then no matter what we do, we have to update the frequency of our value, right? That comes after. Okay, and then after this loop, so I want to update the string with the key. And then, so we'll be looking at the order of the words, right? So for the words that are in our order list right now, we'll loop through this order list and try to add those to the string. So we'll just do string plus equals the current word that we're looking at. Then we need the format, right? So parentheses. And then we have to cast the frequency because it's currently an int. But should also be in parentheses. And then plus the closing parentheses. And then we need a new line, right? So okay, and then just want to return the string. Okay, and then this should be right. I'll go ahead and check. Nice. So yeah, here we'll get it. So in terms of evaluating, I think this ends up being for space. I think it ends up being O n squared because we're like using the string, and then we're also using like a dictionary, and then both of those are definitely going to be as long as our input list, and then so I think it's like O n squared. And time, I believe is also O n squared. I think it's mainly because of the string. Then we have to it's gonna be like very long, and then it's definitely gonna be as long as like our input for sure. And then yeah, I think also, and yeah, we're like using like a loop here, and like I'm using like an inner loop here. So yeah, I think it ends up being O(n) squared. But this, as we saw, the solution didn't work. So thank you. That's my Umpire process for Bigram frequency.